Hello everyone, this is Fantastic Worlds. Welcome you back to Lovecraft Country and the Dark Rites of Arkham. So, it's kind of obvious which series won the vote. Sorry I didn't make an official announcement, but I had a few technical issues that have been recently resolved by proper sacrifices to the machine spirits. So, let's resume back to our 1930s expedition dealing with yet again galactical Cthulhu Noir, the combination of the hard-boiled detective and cosmic story. Both stories came out in the 1930s, so kind of blend well together. In fact, there's an entire role-playing game called Trail of Cthulhu, which does exactly that. But we can talk about that some other time. Now we're going to pop over to the next plot-relevant point is Marsh. Oh, I like that. It glows when you do that. Can you... Oh, you know me. I like to check for anything hidden, but it doesn't look like they're being that clever. So let's pop over the river to Marsh Antiques. And Marsh, by the way, is a family line that comes from Innsmouth. If you remember the shadow over Innsmouth, probably going to be dealing with the fish man. Let's go. Ice cold. So this is where your pen pal keeps his antique shop. I know the voices. We'll get it. I'll be a little rough in the beginning. Yeah, it's a little further down the road. Alright, so I guess we're back to us. Let's talk to Harvey. It's disheartening that in 4 blocks we've only seen a couple of businesses. Oh, it's disheartening that in only 4 blocks we've only seen a couple of businesses still standing. Great Depression. We are facing an unprecedented crisis. I wonder how long this crap will last. Still World War II. And if it ever will end. Yeah, it will come and go. Alright, so. Can't do the... Alright, so poster. Whitfield shaving lotion. Women will find you irresistible. Yeah, that crap's been going on in advertising for a long time. Forward with Bradley. Scoundrel ripped off Roosevelt's presidential campaign slogan. Oh, that's just... unimaginative. I don't see how the Democrats will slap I don't see how the Democrats didn't slap a lawsuit on him. That would be kind of funny. Can you... I don't know if you can actually, Oops, sorry. What was that? Bucket with ice cold water. Oh, that we could use that later, I'm sure. Okay, so neon sign, poster... Probably need to go that way, but we'll do this first. Ooh, my head hurts just looking at it. Oh yeah, I mean, it starts here, and the next thing you know, 150 years later, you've got Night City, which is just all neon. Soda, bah. Wouldn't you like a nice glass of whiskey right now? Maybe, but it's illegal. Your point were the cops. When did we start following the law? Dog. How are ya, buddy? Oh, hey, what are you doing? I was gonna pet the dog. But would you shake my... You won't shake my hand when we met, but you'll pet a mangy stray? Get your hand the hell away from it, unless you want to catch mange. No, not a dog lover, apparently. Oh yeah, this is the Great Depression, which is a period of time, 1930s, in which, it was Hoover's era, in which there was such a massive downturn in the economy that there were homeless people exploded across the world, and they were actually on the verge of a freaking revolution, probably communist style, until Roosevelt enacted the New Deal to stave them off. Yeah, it's not... You know how things, the more things change, they stay the same? Bums, it's okay. Good night, gentlemen. Good night, gentlemen. Hey, what are you drinking? Me? Rum. In that case, I have no choice but to confiscate that bottle and take you to the police station, sir. What are you doing? What? Get over here. Oh, I actually anticipated that one. But, get over here. What the hell are you doing? Man is committing a crime. He's in possession of an alcoholic beverage. Remember, this is during Prohibition. And that's illegal. Probably the only relief that poor bastard has in his life is a couple swigs from a bottle without cop coming in and breaking his chops. Man, he's more liberal than a lot of other cops. Are you telling me to turn a blind eye? In this case, yes. You're justifying a crime, Jack. But no, for God's sakes, don't be so square, okay? Alright, sign. Marsh Antique Shop. Cash and trade only. So it's more along pay on the spot. Though it's more of an actual pawn shop than an antique shop. I don't know if pawn shops are actually called this at this point. Let's exit. But let's go talk to Mr. Fishface. Here it is. Before we go in, I should mention something to you. Shoot. Huh? Oh. Benjamin Marsh hails from Innsmouth. Told you. What do you know about Innsmouth? I know that 3 years ago, the Feds stormed the town like a damn 7th Cavalry. That's it 3 years after Shadows of Innsmouth. They raided, arrested half the town, and dynamited the waterfront. I don't know what happened there, but it must have been big. Reach the Shadows over Innsmouth to find out, or listen to it by audio. You'll see free audio online. Oh, and the folks there have a strange look about them. Word is they're from inbreeding. No, they've been messing with fish. I don't know, I've never seen one of them. Well, people of Innsmouth are very reserved, and their distrust of strangers borders on paranoia. It took me many letters to gain his trust. I'm telling you all this because it should be me the one who talks to him. Don't worry, I'll do the talking. If he plays hard to get, I'll smack him around. Jack! Hey, it's a joke. A joke? Don't you have a sense of humor? Come on, let's go on in. Remember, let me do all the talking. Yeah, so we alternate control times. Who are you? Oh god, I get to go back to we don't like. What the hell do you want? Yeah, that's not good customer service. Mr. Marsh? Do I know you? Not in person. I'm Harvey Whitman. We've been corresponding these past few months. Harvey Whitman, huh? I don't talk to pigs, get lost. Oh, That's enough out of you. My turn. Listen, pal, I don't know who you think you are, but around here only one man gets to insult my partner, and that's me. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. What's the matter? Never seen anyone from Innsmouth before? Not this close. I saw a picture of one of you in a paper once. I thought it was blurry. Guess not. Allow me to make the introductions. I'm Detective Jack Foster. This is my partner, Detective Harvey Whitman. I know who this guy is. For months he's been pumping me for information about my knowledge of symbology. It turns out he's a damned cop. Just like you. So you can both get the hell out. Hey, relax, will you? We just want to make some information about a strange symbol. Why do you call my partner a pig? We've never been to Innsmouth. We just want some information about a strange symbol. Let's get right to work here. We just want some information on a strange symbol. My partner swears you're Arkham's foremost mind on occult symbols. Wait, there's an entire college, Miskatonic, with people full of this. Go there. And rightly so. Great, we've come to the right place. Hang on one... Now you can go somewhere else. I'm not helping you. Hang on 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Anyways... Police business, it's police business, you ought to help. We're not here to look at antiques. Police business, and you should help us. Mine good, is it? Isn't this where the threats come in? No one's going to threaten you, anyone, Mr. Marsh. Refusing to assist the Arkham police could lead to your arrest. Or obstruction of justice. It'd be better for all if you just arrive at an amicable arrangement. What is it you're not understanding? I won't place my knowledge in the hands of oppressors. Remember, the feds basically wiped out his entire people. I can see you don't like the police. I see you don't like the police, huh? I thought I had been subtle. Come on, what's with the bile? You Arkham cops helped the feds destroy my hometown. Well, you were unholy abominations. Don't look at me, I wasn't there. You're part of the same repressive organization. We're just enforcing the law. Repressive laws. What happened in Innsmouth? What the hell happened in Innsmouth? Feds were investigating an alarming series of disappearances in the area. People disappear every day, everywhere. People are irresponsible and careless. Word is they found a connection between the disappearances and a cult called the Esoteric Order of Dagon. Nonsense. This is America. Everyone must look the same and believe the same God if they don't want to be singled out. Well, do we have a conversation there? Want to know what happened in Innsmouth? Look at yourselves and look at me. That's what happened in Innsmouth. We're asking a small favor, that's all. We're asking a small favor, that's all. Help us crack a symbol so we can crack a case, and then we're gone. You'll never see us again. Help the police! Did the police help me at Arkham Museum of the Unusual? What? No one spared a minute to hear me. What happened at the museum? It's none of your concern. New location unlocked. What happened at the Arkham Museum of the Unusual? Please stop taking a stand against anyone who's different from them. Please taking a stand against anyone who's... Okay. Why'd you call my partner a pig? Well, might as well. 'Cause he's a cop! I'm a cop too. Does that make me a pig too? That's right. Watch it, pal. You deceived me. Until your last letter, you didn't comment on what you did for a living. Our correspondence began as one scholar to another. Perhaps I should have mentioned to you if it was so important to you. I beg your pardon. On top of that, the data I provide helps solve a case. I feel dirty for helping a fascist institution. I don't know if that word existed at this point. Fascism is literally from a word created by Mussolini, who might have been rising to power in Italy by this point. We don't know the exact year. If it's like 33, not so much. 37, absolutely. Oh, it's definitely past 37 because 1937-ish is when I think the Shadows of Innsmouth is supposed to take place. I've never been to Innsmouth. Would you recommend it? Is there a good food in the area? Lots of seafood. Fish, I suppose. You missed nothing. Leave the people of Innsmouth alone and we'll return the courtesy. Okay, so you claim you're the top hand in symbology. I am. I've been studying occult symbology all my life. For the cult, yeah. Now I've had access to books and documents that other scholars would kill for. I think you're bluffing. You're noted as nothing more than a simple antique dealer. I don't think this fella can help us, Harvey. Now, I know what you're trying to do, detective, but that's not going to work on me. Okay, we'll be back. I hope not. Alright, so let's just start rummaging. I see a certain resemblance to you. Is he a relative of yours? Obadiah Marsh. Very important in the story. The expeditionary, the man behind Innsmouth's fat years. Yep. And word is he was a founder of the Esoteric Order of Dagon. Is that true? You know nothing about Captain Marsh or what went on in Innsmouth, nor do you have the right to know. Clock. Oh, antiques. Some of these pieces are ancient. Odds are he took these as the town was burning. They must be over a century old. There's a good profit to be made from this, isn't there? They're not for sale. Nothing here is for sale. The hell? Nothing? Did you read the sign? Buy and trade only. I'm trying to recover everything that was looted from Innsmouth by law enforcement. Oh, this is interesting. Little by little, I'm getting there, especially thanks to this crisis. Nobody has any money, the Depression, least of all, American Depression, least of all the pigs who take advantage of the chaos to steal what belonged to my people. So that's an interesting, that is actually an interesting tactic to try to purchase back all the arcane artifacts that were taken. And yes, the cops and feds would have looted a lot too. Let's see. Enter ship. Nice ship. Did you build it? It's a Sumarda Queen. One of the ship's Captain Obed Marsh used on his voyages to Polynesia, where he founded by the Dagon cult and founded the Esoteric Order. And what was the purpose of those voyages? That's none of your business. Slavery, originally. Furniture. Several pieces are covered with seaweed and mollusks. Have you thought about cleaning them? You could make a few extra bucks for that. They're not for sale! Hey! You have no right to go in there. Sorry, I'm a detective. Professional habit. I don't like snoops, understand? Well, yeah, but... my guess is we're supposed to go to the museum next. So we're getting kind of randomness here, but let's go. I like how he waits for Harvey. Let's talk to Harvey. It's disheartening that in okay. I thought it might be something new after we did this. So let's hit the exit. Head to the Museum of the Unusual, sorry. Welcome to the Arkham Museum of the Unusual. Enter with an open mind and prepare to transform your preconceived ideas about this reality. That's really a bad idea in a Lovecraftian universe. And by the way, I count our universe as Lovecraftian. He's got one eye. Is this going to be an Odin reference? Odin! I don't know if he showed up or showed up in... I know he didn't show up in the basic Lovecraft books. I don't know if he showed up like in later works. It's an early work by the famous arcane painter Richard Upton Pickman. Pickman's Model. Really good story by Lovecraft. It represents our role in the immensity of the cosmic void. If you are interested in his work, there are several of his originals in the adjoining gallery. Let's talk to Harvey. Have you ever been to a museum before? I once arrested a guy I was chasing. He hid one. Does that count? Probably not. All right. Oh, I see that the much sought after A Treatise on Primordial Fear has caught your attention. I have received tempting offers from the Miskatonic University to make it part of their collection. Excuse me. But what better place than here for this cursed book? There's a little too much into this. Price list. Single admission, 75 cents. Monthly pass, $2.15. 2% discount over groups. For the price of this ticket, I got on the movie 3 times. The movies don't offer the same sensations as this museum. Well, not until, certain directors come to the helm. Now, I'm not going to name any directors because they all got a different list of the directors we really like. But, yeah. Who's your favorite horror director? Anyways, let's skull. This is the skull of a member of the fearsome Chocho people, natives of Southeast Asia. Now, I remember this. Lovecraft just mentioned them, but they do show up in other works. So far, no one's been able to see them and come out alive. This is the closest you'll get to them without endangering your physical integrity. Alright, anything else we can play with? Bust. Professor Roman Dov. Roman Dvorak. Thanks to him, the museum has the priceless pieces such as Eric Zohn's cello. Yep, music of Eric Zohn. Check it out sometime. All these books, all these stories I'm mentioning are free, by the way. It's public domain. It's a pity that he no longer is with us. He didn't actually specify which one you were talking about, but let's talk to the museum director. Alright, we're going with Harvey here first. Detectives Foster Whitman. May we ask you a few questions, Mr.
Floyd. Raymond Floyd. Yes, of course. I'm the director of this museum.
He's got like a fisheye under there, doesn't he?
Is there a problem, detectives?
Does the name Benjamin Marsh ring a bell?
Oh, yes, I'll remember him for the rest of my life.
We understand a museum had a problem with him.
An unfortunate incident that has never have occurred.
What happened?
What happened? We have a gallery dedicated to the mysterious town of Innsmouth. The most outstanding piece in the collection is a figurine bearing the likeness of primeval Cthulhu. It comes from the looting that took place in the town after the feds arrived. A unique piece.
What's a primeval?
Deities that come from the depths of the cosmos. Cthulhu is one of them, worshipped by the entire population of Innsmouth.
Go on.
Marsh stormed in claiming the effigy belonged to his people and shouldn't be displayed in a profane place like this. I explained the museum had every right to display it, but he wouldn't listen to reason. He made his way to the gallery and smashed the protective glass. I immediately called the police and tried to prevent him from taking it. During the struggle, he stabbed me in the right eye with one of the statue's spikes. Left me blind in that eye.
Did you press charges?
Are you mad? Benjamin Marsh is a direct descendant of Obadiah Marsh. Do you know what that means? I don't want any trouble from the Marshes.
Even after he blinded you?
Detective, that's nothing compared to what could happen to me.
Did Marsh take the figure?
The police arrived in time to stop him. When I refused to press charges, they decided to confiscate it as evidence in case I changed my mind.
Harvey?
Yes, I see. We have it at the station. We are displaying a replica in its place. It's not ideal, but we only display originals here. But visitors are fascinated by it.
Can we see that figure?
Of course, but I've already mentioned that it's a replica. You can enter the museum if you wish, always under the supervision of our guide. Since the unfortunate incident I told you about, we have installed a policy of constant surveillance of our visitors. We won't try anything funny. We're police officers, remember? The museum cannot afford to make any exceptions, Detective. I trust you understand. The original log is evidence of a crime. So you don't have the original. Our other colleagues took it and it's cataloged as evidence. Exactly. Don't you want it back? We would require discharging Benjamin Marsh, and the cure would be more worse than the disease. What's the museum about? The Arkham Museum with the unusual aims to show visitors a reality they are unaware of. We tend to live immersed in a life where superstition has been left behind and scientific reality is imposed upon our day-to-day. We try to show, and above all, not to forget that there are unusual and strange facts that exist around us. Okay, where's the music coming from? We have installed an innovative music reproduction system based on magnetic media and distributed several speakers around the tour viewer. That's right! Radio waves and a tape deck and speakers are high technology at this point. What you are hearing is a loop playback of Through the Cosmos by Matthew Elm. It's an ideal piece to set the mood for the visit, don't you think? Alright, we'll take a look around. Make yourselves at home, detectives. Well, that gives us the right to come in here without a warrant. Not that I think it really matters at this point. Museum rules. We should check these. You don't need to read all the rules. Simply use common sense. Don't touch anything and behave like adults. Let's go. Alright, let's do... Where's that guide? I believe he's coming this way. Oh, nice uniform. Welcome to the Arkham Museum of the Unusual. Please, step closer, so I can eat your brains. My name is Horace Chambers, and I will be your guide throughout the tour. If you desire information about any of the pieces on display, I will be happy to provide it. The tour begins in the room we call the Gallery of the Damned Artists. Oh, the Gallery of the Damned would actually work better. More acquisitions would be coming soon. Well, there's a tip. You can skip the guide's explanations by pressing the escape key. Alright, let's go. To the lobby painting. These three distinctive canvases are by the Boston artist Richard Upton Pickman, which means they're based on ghouls. His hyper-realistic strokes and inimitable technique have made him most celebrated painter in his city. I think he disappeared by this point. There are certain rumors that insinuate that the impact these paintings exert on the observer is due to a terrifying fact. This hellish creature exists. Pickman keeps it in his home and uses it as a model. A little spoiler there. Not that it's too much of a spoiler. You are looking at the work of the promising California artist Clark Ashton Smith, real-life artist, by the way, and considered one of the three founders of weird fiction. Poet, writer, and sculptor of nightmarish figures from lost worlds. The figure is called Inhabitant of the Moon. Some claim the image of the being came to Smith in his sleep. Did the inhabitants of our satellite reveal their appearance to him through some inconceivable telepathic method? I don't know if that's a story or not. You are looking at the nameless entity. Smith claims to have no memory of sculpting this piece. He simply woke up one morning and this disturbing sculpture was staring back at him from his workbench. Well, timeline shift, maybe? Alright, what do we got? Okay, I think that's everything we can tap here. Alright, so... this is the Gallery of the Damned Artists. To exhibit... okay. Alright. Move up. If you would be so kind as to come with me. Hell? Oh, we know who... Eric's on. You were in the Hall of Unusual Characters. Here you find those who defied science, or were at the center of events that would test the sanity of ordinary mortals. Herbert West. Ah, yes, friend of yours. He was part of the raid that arrested him. It was my first assignment after I was posted here. Wait, I thought he was killed at the end of his story. Let's talk to Harvey about it. So you know the guy with the syringe. I just helped arrest him, but I'm fascinated by his scientific achievements. He made zombies. Sure. Wax figures, automation. Gallery of Damned. Okay, so I guess it's just these. Let's start with this guy in his bathrobe. The case of Dr. Manoy is the perfect example to illustrate this room. He contracted a severe illness in his native Barcelona. Cool Air is the story that this one's based off. Years later, he settled in a small room in a New York boarding house. He installed an ammonia-based cooling system and air conditioner that kept the room at a very low temperature in order to control his illness. However, when he saw his body begin to deteriorate with unusual speed due to a failure in the cooling system, Monroe asked the other tenants for help. No, actually, singular tenant, thank you very much. He asked them for huge quantities of ice, knowing that all the stores would be closed by that hour. When they returned, they found no trace of ammonia, save for the viscous puddle in the middle of the room. The doctor had hastily left a hastily written letter. Manoy's had been dead for 18 years. He had kept himself alive thanks to the cold. I heard that's preserved his tissues. Yeah, this is going to have spoiler warnings across the... going to call this episode spoiler warning. Oh, God. You don't have to, like, do this one by one. You can just say mysterious events and such. You should read the damn story for yourself. Derek Zahn was a virtuoso Germanic cellist who lived in seclusion in a garret in the Rue d'Yssel in Paris. Except you can't do that because the Rue d'Yssel doesn't exist. It's part of the story. Every night, the tenants of the boarding house heard strange and frantic music played compulsively coming from Zahn's room. One of them befriended the musician and witnessed some terrifying events. According to his account, Zahn was stalked every night by a strange and gigantic creature that only his ghostly music kept at bay. Upon witnessing the events, the man fled the building and reported the incident to the guard. Unfortunately, they did not find Eric Zahn. In fact, they couldn't even find the Rue d'Yssel. Street itself, yeah. Somebody had an interesting interpretation on that one, by the way. They did a film version of the music of Eric Zahn, in which Zahn was greatly different, but it was revealed that he had created the entire street as a kind of sanctuary for those who lived on the edge of society. But in order to do so, he essentially had to play the music to the entity that essentially, he didn't create it. He used the music to basically bribe, as it were, the entity to create the street as a sanctuary. But at one point, everything collapsed. It was interesting the way the story they did it, because it was actually not a horror story, more of a dark fantasy, kind of from the point of view of a runaway who had managed to find themselves in that street. A little weird, I give you, but I liked it because it was original, as opposed to getting the same almost literalist interpretation over and over again. Anyways, let's talk to about the zombie man, Dr. Herbert West. A modern-day Dr. Frankenstein. Frankenstein did come out at this point, better known as the Butcher of Arkham. Obsessed with defeating death, he created a formula that, when injected into corpses, brought them back to life. However, the reanimation came with horrifying consequences. The revived ones tended to have an animalistic behavior with homicidal tendencies. I have a thought on that, by the way. West believed this was because the formula was more effective on corpses that were more recent. He began to indiscriminately desecrate graves in Christchurch Cemetery, which led to his arrest by the authorities. That's actually how it ends, by the way. What happened to all those revived corpses? They were put down. But it was believed that there are those who escaped still roam Arkham. Alright, that's actually different from the original one. The original Dr. Herbert West Reanimator story is a serialized one, which Lovecraft kind of did as a parody of serialized stories at the time, but which was highly popular, where they essentially bought the story on small elements. Basically, they would have a Penny Dreadful sheet back from Victorian era, which eventually became the short story magazines of the 30s. And what would happen is that you would buy like 4 pages for a penny, and then wait for, I called Penny Dreadfuls, and then wait for the next 4 pages, So he decided to write a short story as if it had been written in that manner. Now, the thing was, the way it ends, you know what, screw it. It's the only story that that he doesn't like given away, because I think they're taking it from the movies and not the actual original story. Shame on you. But, yeah. On the other hand, these stories are worth seeing even though the plots have been plain, because if you love that Lovecraftian purple prose, these are probably 3 of the best. We'll point out racism really heavy in West story here.
If you would be so kind as to come with me. Well, that's unsafe. With the recent discovery of the ninth planet in our solar system, Pluto, we have turned our eyes to the stars. It has made us realize that we are just one speck of dust in the cosmos. We are unaware of the mysteries and dangers that await us on these worlds, just as we do not know that there's other worlds that do not align with our plane of existence. Expand your mind and get to know the other realities. Well, that's a good way to get sanity damage. Alright, so stop for a second here. Okay, that's correct. In the 1930s, God, I've forgotten his name, Lowell, I think. An astronomer named Lowell managed to discover Pluto as the ninth planet. And yes, I will say it is the ninth planet. The whole reduction to a planetoid is just being obnoxious. But in the Whisper in the Darkness, it turns out that it's also known as Yugoth, and that is where a larger colony of the Migo live. Which again, read that story. Just read these stories I'm mentioning. Showcase. The Earth is constantly bombarded by meteorites. How can you delight in admiring a select collection of fragments from the other worlds? It is the closest contract that humanity can have with the immensity of our cosmos. Alright. Painting. In a certain astronomical circles, there is talk of the existence of the dark and mysterious planet Yugoth, located in the far reaches of our solar system, aka Pluto. Several writings claim it's inhabited by the Migo, an alien race of fungi that can travel through the cosmos. What you are looking at is a depiction of its surface by French painter Antoine Giard, who dreamed about it, of course. Or maybe his brain case stick was taken there. Now, one of the things I'm kind of interesting is that if Dr. Herbert West's reanimation is now an actual part of the public record, I think that would dramatically have altered history. My guess, I mean, either A, they repress all the information, or B, there's somebody out there trying to make it. All right, if he was just arrested and not killed, as was in the original, then he's somewhere in a government facility trying to perfect it to make Men in Black. Anyways. Press article. A press article published in 1931 in the Astrophysical Society of America's Journals. I don't know if that's an actual one that existed. Cited by the prestigious astronomer Julius Tillinghast, the text of this offers a series of arguments claiming the newly discovered planet Pluto is actually Yugoth, as I was saying. Tillinghast warns of the dangers of this planet and suggests the research on it should be halted. That's the main character, Whisper in the Darkness. Now I know her. Now I know her. I know that name. He points out that the future contact with Pluto could be devastating to the fate of mankind. Well, don't worry, we just called it a planetoid and forgot it existed. And yeah, you conspiracy theorists among the audience there can, make that part of the narrative. Hang on one second. I think a quick drink. This is a lot of narrating. Alright. Showcase. Alright. This stone was found at the bottom of the Miles Standish State Forest swamp. It is part of a meteorite that originated on the planet Pluto. Scientists were amazed to find that despite stellar erosion, there were unnatural carvings visible on the rock. That rock could be part of an artificial structure on Pluto. In other words, the ninth planet of our world, our solar system, is or was inhabited. It is the first material evidence of extraterrestrial life. Amazed? Probably this is the equivalent of a tabloid for a museum. Oh my god, do tabloids still exist? Probably not. It's all YouTube these days. Oh wait, no, I know the Daily Sun exists. Planet Pluto, the ninth of our solar system. I'm detecting a theme to this room. Discovered 3 years ago by the astronomer Clyde Will Tombaugh, which is not what happened in our world, it has fueled theories and expectations about the existence of extraterrestrial life. If you look down at the display case, you will see that their theories are supported by irrefutable evidence. Portrait. Randolph Carter. Young man claims to travel to strange worlds without moving from the spot through his dreams. Dream Quest or Cat Out, by the way. And the accounts of his travels, the unknown Kadath or the dangerous Dilethline, are so detailed and realistic that some have dismissed their being a mere invention. Carter is scheduled to undergo an exhaustive scientific examination next month at the Teutonic University in order to confirm his claims. He's going to disappear, by the way. Through the Gate of the Silver Key. So the Silver Key, all right, Dream Quest, Statement of Randall Cowder, kind of a prelude, the Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath, the Silver Key, and Through the Gates of the Silver Key. Now the weird thing is that all four of those stories have Carter in them, but they're not really linked in a lot of ways. I mean, after Dream Quest, Silver Key does reference Dream Quest, for example, but, you know, Dream Quest doesn't really reference Statement of Randolph Carter. Statement of Randolph Carter is one of the better scary short stories that Lovecraft wrote. Dream Quest, the Unknown Kadath is like a bloody how do I put this? It's like a dream trip, but not a drug trip, because Lovecraft hated drugs, never used them. Key and Through the Silver Key are kind of like influenced by the Theosophists, if all that. Madame Bolensky was actually starting up her religion during this era, so Lovecraft apparently started reading about it shortly before his death. What's in there? In 1927, hundreds of witnesses saw an anomaly directly above the Empire State Building in New York. From their statements, it was deduced to be a dimensional breach, but there were witnesses who could see through the point where the cosmos did not correspond to our own. What you see behind the curtain is a recreation of what happened that day. It is created by Willis O'Brien, who was in charge of the special effects for the hit movie King Kong. As you can see, the museum has spared no expense. Who actually is paying for all this? Shall we take a look? Yeah, why not? I'm curious. Do we get to see anything? I can't see shit. It's about to start. Don't be impatient. Arkham Museum than usual presents a dimensional gap, directed by Willis O'Brien. Well, for 1930s, it's impressive science fiction. Impressive special effects. This is basically how young Sothoth gets bored. Just opens up a gate and looks at humanity and screw them. Experience a screening. Okay, a film by Willis O'Brien. What did you think? Magnificent special effects. Like I said, that was probably the best for 1930s you're gonna get. All right, so let's go check out the Innsmouth room. I think that's why we're here. Give me 1 second. All right, just wanted to make sure where we were. We've got another 15 to 20 minutes. All right, let's go to the next room. This room is dedicated to the enigmatic town of Innsmouth. Its characteristic secrecy has not been an obstacle for the Arkham Museum of the Unusual to provide you with all the information about it. The museum would like to thank Zadok Allen for his contributions to the making of this room. I do not know who Zadok Allen is, top of my head. I know I've heard that. Portrait, okay, painting. The Devil's Reef. Located 1.5 miles from Innsmouth Harbor, it is, or rather was, the place where Captain Obadiah Marsh hid the strange creature. Oh, fuck. Thanks to an eyewitness account, the federal government took action and torpedoed the base of the reef with the submarines, putting an end to the bloody alliance between the creatures and the inhabitants of Innsmouth. He was about to say these were where the sea devils, deep ones, were hiding out. It, however, said that a network of caves in the inlet extends the abyssal depths, and those beings are still there. Alright, let's try this again. It's a place where Captain Obadiah Marsh hid the strange creatures he brought with him from the South Seas in his caves, and they built an entire city down there, so they're rather productive. One thing about the bad guys, they always seem to be, motivated. Super clipping. Here you have a news item from the Arkham Advertiser of February 1928. It recalls a secret investigation that federal government agents carried out in Innsmouth. Raids and arrests that were carried out, and numerous houses and factories were blown up. Okay, this is a bit odd. Usually 1937, the year the story came out, is considered to be the year where this happened, but he moved to 1928. The article mentions that most of those arrests were ended up in prison or concentration camps. Concentration camp is not a term yet. Okay. A little bit of gaff there, but it does seem to be an alternate timeline. Weeks after this news broke, it became known that many had escaped from these facilities. We could threaten to put him in a concentration camp. This is where we are as characters. Captain Obadiah Marsh. In the middle of the last century, Innsmouth was going through a crisis that reduced its fishing activity and plunged its inhabitants into absolute poverty. On one of his character chartered voyages to the South Seas, he discovered a small village on one of the islands, where strange amphibious creatures were worshipped, offering gold and abundant fish in exchange for human sacrifices. Marsh brought those creatures with him and hid them on Devil's Reef, which you can see on the left. The town flourished again in its golden years, and the inhabitants of the Innsmouth embraced the claims and beliefs of those beings and even mixed their blood. Okay, they had sex with them. That's what they mean. Those who opposed this diabolic alliance were purged, leaving the town inhabited only by those akin to the creatures and their strange offspring. You have seen other portraits of the captain with a more, shall we say, conventional appearance. But this is his true countenance, the result of his close relationship with those creatures from the underworld. Wrong. Obadiah Marsh was, after all, human. He did not become a deep one, because he wasn't born from one, at least in the last years of his life. Okay, that's the thing. Obadiah Marsh, you can't actually be... Alright, one of the things that was a bit weird about the old Dark Corners of the Earth game, which I did a playthrough on this channel for, it was like a 2008 first-person shooter that was really interesting in the way it recontextualized the Shadows over Innsmouth, with you essentially being plucked by Yith, which are actual creatures in Lovecraft's universe, using their ability to time travel, alter Jack's fate so that he basically causes Innsmouth to happen in a different way that the Yith want. Right. Which gets crazier. All right. The Great Old One Cthulhu. This cosmic entity is secretly worshipped by the vast majority of Innsmouth inhabitants. Got quite a few among the world, actually. It is said to lie dreaming in the sunken city of Relay, waiting for the day in which it will be free to reign over the earth once more. You are looking at a replica, by the way. Until recently, we exhibited the original found during the Innsmouth raids. A minor incident deprived us of it. We hope to show it to the public again someday. Alright, so, tablet. The inhabitants of Innsmouth profess no orthodox religion. Their god is Cthulhu, whose representation you can see in the central part of the room, and their church is the esoteric order of Dagon. The ancient tablet with its carved emblem was found among the ruins of the old Masonic Lodge on New Church Green, where the order was installed. I actually shot my way through that building in Dark Corners of the Earth. I wonder if this is actually the AU timeline. We already know there's some alterations in the timeline. This could be the one where Yith sent Jack back in time to do it in 1928 instead of 1937. So yes, this is a sequel to Dark Corners of the Earth. Wow. Whoever wrote this really knows their obscure lore. The current inhabitants of Innsmouth, descendants of the blasphemous hybridization between species, I don't know if hybridization was a word then, undergo a metamorphosis throughout their lives. It is not so noticeable in the young, but is those of advanced age. Once they reach middle age, and their appearance resembles that of the creatures found by Obadiah Marsh, they feel the call of the sea. And there they begin a new and immortal life dedicated to the worship of their god, the great primordial god, Cthulhu, Great Old One. Why don't we just use the original term? Alright, to the next room. I think this is everything, right? This room is exclusively houses the infamous painting The Faces of Madness by Francis Holt. Why isn't it the first room of the others? The museum had to relocate that piece because what? Let's go inside and I'll explain. It's a fascinating story. This one's come with me. This episode's gonna be a lot of exposition. I'm not really minding it. It's nice to have this little fan service. Francis Holt was a promising German painter whose interest in the dark arts became an obsession. Concerned about his young man's mental health, his family committed him to the asylum where he spent the rest of his life. It is known from his writings that he continued his studies in arcane magic there. I wonder how he got that. Was it interlibrary loan, maybe? The painting behind the curtain, The Faces of Madness, is the result of merging that magic with his art. Why did Holt do this is unknown. What is known is for certain that viewing this painting can affect the observer. In what way? Paranoia, depression, anger. Each person reacts differently when exposed to the painting. It's a Rorschach test. We were convinced that the stories about the work were mere exaggerations, but when we showed it to the public, we realized that everything that it said was true. I'm intrigued. Can we see it? And management has decided not to exhibit it until further notice. We've had some problems with some visitors. We're not just visitors. Pull back the curtain and let's see it. We won't tell anyone. I'm not authorized to do that, sir. I wouldn't even have the piece to activate the mechanism that moves the curtain. Bummer. I was curious about this story. This mechanism is missing a piece. I can't move the curtain. Something is holding the rings in place. So the painting affects each viewer differently. I can assure you of that personally, sir. In my case, I would say the effect has on me is similar to hypnosis, as if the painting were calling to me and wouldn't let me look away. It's hard to explain. I'm curious to see that painting. Everybody just wants the
let's go back to the Innsmouth room. I guess we'll probably end up opening it at some point. There's a slot. We're going to have to fill it. You were in this. Okay, so let's head back to the other worlds. Okay, so basically we'll walk back all the way. Head back to the Hall of Unusual Characters. Kind of was hoping it would loop around, and apparently not. Let's go back to the Gallery of Damned Artists. And then back to the entrance. See if we have anything else to say. Also, I forgot to check. Okay, yeah, alright. Nothing big, he says. Leaving already? Come back anytime. Stay a while. Stay forever. Let's see if there's anything new to ask the old man. Originals like, okay, I'd like to see Francis Holt's painting. We'd like to see Francis Holt's painting. The Faces of Madness. I'm afraid that won't be possible. The painting has upset many visitors lately. Some have even had violent reactions that caused us problems. I've decided not to show it to the public for the time being while I consider what to do with it. Besides, burn it? I'm sorry, I can't oblige. Okay. We'll take a look around. Make yourself at home, detectives. Alright, so we probably have to end up going back to the evidence room. Let's go actually talk to Marsh first. See if you have any new dialogue from what we got from the museum. You made good on your threat. You're back. Mr. Marsh? Alright, nothing new with him. Get the hell out of my shop, will you? Now, how is he actually affording to buy all this stuff? It's because Innsmouth can produce what's called white gold. Essentially, and it's alchemical gold. It's close enough to the original that you can use it as currency. In fact, they might actually be using it to crash the economy. That's how fucking crazy this is. Alright then. Need to stay in the evidence. To the stairs. I like how the fact that we activate the elevator causes the electricity to go bad. I mean, this place needs to be upgraded. Evidence. Kind of weird that we automatically go to the second floor and not start at the first. Evidence storage room in this direction. Alright, so let's talk about it. Foster, Whitman. What do you know about a figure that was received from the museum? Oh, yes, we have it here. Some Innsmouth fellow used it to gouge the museum owner's eye. They're savages, those inbred yokels, huh? Strangely enough, the guy didn't press charges. You know what? If it was up to me, I'd send all that rabble back to the godforsaken town they should have never left. Normally I don't go along with the racists, but these are deep ones we're talking about. We've got some problems in Arkham without having to put up with those toad faces. Again, the aliens. Can I see the figure? Oh, you can't. It's not your case, Foster. I know it's not my case, but that figure is related to our investigation. You can file to examine it. Just fill it out and get it stamped by the department. Got the red tape, will ya? I don't make the rules. Sorry. Just take a quick look, that's all. They throw me out on the street if they found out. What am I supposed to do? Get a 48 with no job. A 48 with no job. Starve on the streets like everyone else? No thanks. Don't insist, Jack. Wilbur would risk his job if you agreed to the request. See? Thanks, Whitman. Whose side are you on? Do you want that application or not? Yeah, I have no choice. Wait here. Now get this signed. How about you button it for a minute? We're police officers. We have to follow the rules. Actually, you're the guys who follow the rules the least. Now, I imagine he's just kind of 404ing there in his head. Here you go. All right. Awesome. I'll fill it out for you. How thoughtful. Get the official Arkham PD seal on it. Then you can examine the piece. All right. So, what are the documents for? Registry. Do you want to register evidence? No, not at this moment. All right. Right, we don't actually have any evidence yet. So we gotta bribe a deep one, probably with the statue. Maybe switch it out for the replica and give him the replica. That's what I would do. Kind of evil. But again, deep one aliens trying to take over the world for Cthulhu, so I don't actually feel bad for them. Alright, let's talk to the offices.
Maybe we'll get lucky. I'm going to try the coin thing just in case, because we need to get that coin to get that newspaper. Buster? All right. Let's see if we can do it. Ready? Because it's left hand or right. What if it's not there anywhere? You missed. Some detective you are. Jack? What's going on? He's palming it in his sleeve. What? The coin. He keeps it in his sleeve. There's a whole look. Oh, you have to activate him, basically. Ready? All right, cool. Left hand or right hand? Neither. Neither. It's up your sleeve. Whitman tipped you off, huh? Hey, you. Think you're clever, huh? What? Never open your mouth, and when you do, it's to screw me over. It wasn't a fair game. There was no chance to win. That was the goddamn point, you idiot. Hey, Archer, you're out of line. What do you know who you're working with? Whitman's nothing but a bookworm. He'll ditch you the second things get rough. I don't know about that. All I do know is that you owe me a coin. Fuck it, you want your coin? Here's your blasted coin. Right then. Mark my words, Foster. The guy's gonna leave you high and dry. Well, that was awkward. Is that true? What? He hinted you have no street experience. Of course I do. Most of my work is done in the office, but I assist my colleagues as my presence is required. And why'd archers say it? I don't know. I guess like you, I'm not very popular with my colleagues. But I promise y'all I'll rise to the occasion. I'll cover you when you have to, and I'll have to be there when you need me. Are you sure? You should trust what I'm trying to tell you. You're my partner. I know Archer's been saying I belong in the loony bin, and he's one of the ones who blames me for what happened to Mac. When he saw me, the son of a bitch didn't even have the guts to say it to my face. You better be on the up to it out there, Harvey. I will. Don't be worried about it. Let's move. I don't usually come up here. It's the captain who comes to see me in the basement. He spoils you, huh? He's aware of my aversion to be around so many people. All right, let's go talk to the offices. Get that stamped. Captain's not around. His office is locked up tight. Okay, so there's no way we can get this probably done. All right, what's probably going to happen is the elevator will go out at some point. The lobby probably moves us back to the street, but right, we know we can go to the psychiatrist's office and use the coin on the paper. All right, let's go. Rumor has the recession persists. The copper in this penny will be worth more than the coin itself. Yeah, they've been saying that for years. They're going to get rid of the penny because the copper is too much. But it's actually mathematically ridiculous. Somebody did out the numbers. You might get 0.01% difference. What the hell? There's something in the slot that stopped me from inserting the coin. The rumors are true. Rumors? What rumors? A couple of weeks ago, Mayor Bradley revoked the Miskatonic Herald's license to use this. I guess he did it in a fit of rage of the article linking him to the Ku Klux Klan. I doubt very much that it's legal. Get to the point. The rumor has the Herald is sending its peddlers to sabotage the Arkham Advertiser machines. Well, the Fourth Estate Wars have just screwed us over. Can't see what's jammed in there. Looks like chewing gum. Chewing gum? And I'm guessing it's hard as a rock. I hope I can get the gum out with this letter opener. Letter openers have been really good for adventure games. I think that will do the trick. I'm a resourceful man. Still have it too. Good, I can stab someone later. And we got it. So that's me being the kleptomaniac. The renovated parapsychologist Philip Moore visits Arkham. Fans of the mystery and the supernatural are in luck, as the famous British popularizer of these topics will visit our city on a North American tour to present his new book, Spontaneous Human Combustion, A Reality. This is a thing that's been going on forever, whether or not people can actually spontaneously combust, or if it's something called the wick effect, which is how some fires can be started by having a simple lit rag that's soaked with chemicals, flammable chemicals in the vicinity to cause the human fat to erupt. The people who go up in flames probably don't care. But you should look it up yourself. Nobody's really come to an answer yet. I kind of like the Parasite Eve explanation in which the mitochondria of a body decide to kill it by generating heat. The gathering with his writers will take place tonight at the esoteric bookstore of the Ishtar Gate, where in addition to signing copies, he will give a lecture on his book's chilling subject. The bookstore has led to limited attendance at the event. Leading scholars of the subject and a small but select group of journalists will be formed the core of the lucky guests invited to the event. However, several cutout invitations have been made available to the general public and can be found in the pages of this month's issue, Strange Eons magazine. At 25 years of age, following the footsteps of his father, Patrick Moore, a pioneer in the metaphysical research, has become one of the most famous popularizers of the paranormal phenomenon thanks to successful books such as The Visitors and Behind the Veil, which recount the investigations carried out in native England. Yeah, he's basically the prototype for the paranormal bros online who like to make these stories about that. I mean, you can go online and find so many people making 20-hour to 2-hour episodes about conspiracy theories and aliens and ghosts and cryptids and demonology. It's a buffet these days. Used to be you had to like drag these books out of the bottom of bookstores bins, which nobody wanted. Or in my case, I used interlibrary loan in a college library. Walter Block, a correspondent for this newspaper, will attend the event to interview Philip Moore about the strange and unusual events that cause some people to reduce to ashes without apparent external source of ignition. Tomorrow we invite our readers to discover the mysteries of spontaneous combustion from one of its great experts. The Smiths of 8, the Economy of 4, Walter Chrysler, Analytics, New Plymouth, loading power with freewheeling. Yep, cars were a new thing. Philip Moore. That's our man. The Ishtar's Gate ring a bell? Yes, the Esoteric Bookstore. It's on Wee Street. But we have to go get the Strange Eons magazine, if you recall. This is where my bumping into everything just means a lot. All right, we need to talk to him. Let's go through the magazines and see if we can find Strange Eons. Magazines are from the exclusive use of the Metropolitan Bus Network passengers. Please leave them in their place before boarding the bus. Thank you very much. Let's see what we have here. Ladies' Home Journal, Hollywood Spectator, Family Circle, Hard Pass. All right, we got to talk to him. Magazine, can I borrow it? What kind of stories? Strange Eons. This magazine sounds interesting. Can I borrow it? To be honest, I'm having a revelation of this magazine. I don't think there were so many unexplained and mysterious events in this world. But wait for the bus to arrive and I'll put it back. What kind of stories is a push? Did you read something else? Plenty of magazines out right here. They're the same old ones. This one's new. From what? I like it so much I think I'll get home I'll subscribe to it. Alright. Kind of stories. Okay, so keep reading. What can we do? Thanks, but you can keep it. All I want is the damn bus to show up. Why isn't the bus showing up? Ooh, whoops, sorry. Thought maybe I could... Nope, can't do that. Okay. Request, precinct. Come on. Okay. What did I do? Jack, for God's sakes. Wanted to check. Let's leave those magazines. Leave those magazines alone, Jack. Thanks, you can keep it. Alright. So, yeah, was going to... Okay. Nice that the devs actually, decided to see what happens if we go crazy. Alright. What are we doing here? I need to break it and get some fresh air. The only person in Arkham where the trees grow. Let's focus on the investigation, please. Alright, so, basically, I think we have to... We know we need to get Strange Eons. We probably have to go to the bookstore yet first. Let me check the time. Yeah, I think this is probably going to end the episode here. Save the game. Alright, just call it 5. But yeah, we got some pretty good progress today, although a lot of it was exposition in the museum. I found it enjoyable. Maybe you did too, maybe you didn't. But I will be putting a spoiler warning, the name of the episode, and possibly, if I remember to stick it in the beginning of the episode, you might have saw it already. But those really should go see those stories. Let's see. First of all, The Shadow over Innsmouth, The Whisper in the Darkness, Herbert West Reanimator, The Music of Eric Zahn, The Statement of Randolph Carter, it's Cool Air. Those just start with that. You can work your way around others. Now, if you like I said, they're public domain. You can just get them online. A lot of people do audio versions of them for YouTube. I tried at the beginning of this channel, but there was absolutely no interest in it. But hey, if you want to have me read some Lovecraft stories for this channel, let me know. I mean, after all, public domain stuff doesn't give me copyright issues. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed your time there. Consider supporting the channel. Links down below to the to the Ko-fi payment platform. Gumroad screwed us over. Get access to additional material and early access to episodes. And of course, you get additional votes for a series. And I will point out, it was one of the Acolytes level supporters who tipped this over to that, because we were running neck and neck with Strange Horticulture and Dark Rites. And yeah, Strange Horticulture I keep in the back burner because you guys seem to like that one too. Anyways, it's Fantastic World saying farewell from Lovecraft Country. Hope you enjoyed your time here. See you next time. Like, share, subscribe as per usual. I'd like to thank my Acolyte level supporters whose contributions help this channel grow and hastens the inevitable digital apocalypse and rise of the Dark Lords of Content and Data.